Final Fantasy VII lets you build your party any way you want, but what if Cloud could only use green materia? Barrett was stuck with yellow, and Aerith, well, let's hope she doesn't get purple. I'm letting fate decide with this color wheel, and whatever color it lands on, that's the only materia each character can use for the entire game. Welcome to the Materia Color Challenge. Here are the rules for this challenge. 1. Each character spins a wheel one time at recruitment. Once a character gets a color, they're locked into that materia type for the whole game, no exceptions. 2. The next character recruited may not get the same color, so that color will be removed from the wheel for that spin only. 3. Items and limit breaks are allowed as normal, and no restrictions for equipment either. 4. I'm playing the remaster on PS5, which has a few extra functions. I will be banning use of the Battle Boosts function, as well as the No Encounter function. However, the 3x speed function is fair game. 5. The available colors are as follows. Green for magic. This is a pretty standard build, useful the whole game. Might have lower physical attacking stats as a result of so much magic materia. Yellow for command. These give extra actions of some kind. Most of the early game ones are pretty bad at offense, but provide some sort of utility. However, there is one pretty broken yellow materia out there. Blue for support. These materia only function when linked to some other color in a linked slot. For that reason, I have created a special system just for blue materia, so they aren't entirely useless and functionally a no materia build. I call it the Support Plus wheel. Whenever a blue assigned character enters a new major area in the game, they must spin a wheel. This wheel contains only 3 colors, the colors that have some function when paired with blue materia. Whichever color the wheel lands on, that character may use up to 2 of that color and only paired with a blue materia. So, if they get a color that doesn't do anything with a given blue materia, it doesn't count. For example, steel with all does nothing. These materia must be unequipped after leaving that area or reaching a specific story beat of my choosing. I will outline the sections for these Support Plus spins as the challenge progresses. Red for summon. These materia have powerful summoned monsters that do a magic attack a few times per battle. Like green, they dramatically lower the physical stats of their user. One key factor here, though, is that there are no red materia in Midgar, so a red assigned character will have nothing for a while. Bummer. Purple for independent. Finally, the last color of materia is purple. These give passive bonuses to characters that equip them. A lot of them are stat boosts like HP up or strength up, so a purple character can become pretty strong at basic combat. As the game progresses, more and more powerful purple materia are found, so a purple character might look pretty beefy at endgame. As the opening sequence plays, a train is rushing through the streets of Midgar, and when it comes to a stop, some armed ruffians jump off and take down a few guards. This is when we see our main character jump off the train, a spiky-headed weirdo by the name of Ex-Soldier? Well, we get to name him later, but there will be at least one battle before that point, so better do the wheel spin first. And so our hero gets green. Wow, that is actually incredibly serendipitous, because during this section of the game, there is almost nothing but green. So Ex-Soldier here gets his pick of the litter of materia throughout Midgar, and honestly, most of the game. There is a lot of powerful magic at his disposal. Since he landed on green, that means he is able to use the magic he starts the game equipped with, Ice and Bolt. So that's great. Otherwise, I would have had to just outlaw using any abilities and resist the temptation to choose them in battle. After a few easy battles against some random soldiers, our hero meets up with his comrades at a locked door. It is at this time we finally get to name him. Since he landed on green on the wheel, we will be calling him Mr. Green. I guess we can consider these as codenames from a heist movie or something. It doesn't take long to run into our next character, a big burly black man with a gun for an arm. Let's spin the wheel and see what he gets, shall we? And the next character lands on blue. Alright, so we get our first blue character. This will make things interesting. We will name this character Mr. Blue, and I would spin for the Support Plus wheel, but it turns out there are no blue materia in Reactor number 1, so skipping for now. For reference going forward, the breakpoints I will be using to spin the Support Plus wheel for Mr. Blue will be as follows. Reactor number 5, the Pillar Assault, the Slums before Shinra HQ, Lower Shinra HQ, Upper Shinra HQ, and a special respin just for the boss Motorball. I deliberately skipped some sections because either Mr. Blue here is not in the party at the time, or there are no viable materia combinations. Now, for the rest of this section, only Mr. Green can use any actions, but that is actually the same as normal. See, during this little bombing run, the materia section of the menu is actually missing. You can't reassign materia until a tutorial explaining it in Sector 7. But thankfully, Mr. Blue comes unequipped anyway, so I don't have to worry about messing with his stuff for the moment. The rest of the bombing mission is pretty simple. Use an elevator, go down a ladder, etc. At the bottom is a materia pickup, Restore. This will come in very handy. Wish the game would let me use it now, but alas. And now the first boss comes out, and there isn't much to say. Since Mr. Green has access to magic, this plays out exactly as a normal run would. Mr. Green uses Bolt, Mr. Blue shoots his gun, stop attacking when the tail is up, easy peasy. After the battle, there is a 10-minute countdown. There are a couple battles along the way out, but Mr. Green and Mr. Blue handle them with ease. Mr. Green stops to rescue Jesse, of course, because he's a nice guy. One thing I found strange was that this sequence of escaping the reactor had no music. Was it always this way even in the PS1 version? Let me know in the comments if that is something that was changed in the remaster or if my memory is just failing me. After the escape, Mr. Green is left to his devices. He tells a young flower girl to get away from the area because it's dangerous. Then, he gets assaulted by some guards on the way to the station. Mr. Green is not one to back down, so he fights them all off. After 3 pretty easy battles, it looks like Mr. Green is cornered, so he leaps off the edge of the platform and lands smoothly on the passing train. This scene always made the character models look like Lego or something, more than usual because of the scale. Mr. Green makes his entrance on the train, impressing everybody greatly, even Mr. Blue, though he doesn't admit it. After a train ride with some minor world-building exposition, Mr. Green arrives in Sector 7. Here, he finally meets up with another new character to add to the party. Let's see where the wheel lands for her. And the color for this feisty new character is red. Oof, not exactly what I would have wanted for her. There are no summon materia in all of Midgar, so she is totally empty for a long while. Anyway, time to give her a name, Ms. Red. Ms. Red is an old childhood friend of Mr. Green. I guess they like to celebrate Christmas together or something. Mr. Green reminisces for a bit, then goes downstairs to get his payment from Mr. Blue. Mr. Blue gets angry, as he tends to do, but then he asks Mr. Green for one more job. Mr. Green agrees for the price of 2,000 gil. Not a whole lot, to be honest, for mercenary work. I think Mr. Green should be looking elsewhere for cash. Now it is time to do some shopping in Sector 7. I considered buying the fire materia for Mr. Green, but figured maybe I would get one later, so decided not to. I did buy 3 iron bangles to equip to my whole party though. There is also an all materia in the beginner's hall just sitting on the ground. After cleaning up in Sector 7, Mr. Green heads to the train station to go to the next job, Reactor number 5. On the train, it takes all of 5 seconds for something to go wrong and the situation to turn into an emergency. The train cars are getting locked down one at a time, and for some reason, just moving to the next car is sufficient. I thought Shinra had good security. Why wouldn't they just lock down the whole damn train? You can interact with a few people along the way. One random guy gives a high potion, another tries to steal your stuff and you can confront him to get it back. This car is just full of naked dudes, which is actually a funny detail I never noticed before, because in the next car, the Avalanche crew are all in disguises. I suppose they got them by robbing those people back there. Huh. The crew jump off the train, at wildly different times mind, but somehow all land in the same spot. And here we enter the next area, and the first time that Mr. Blue gets to spin the Support Plus wheel. And the result for the Reactor 5 Support Plus wheel is magic. That is actually quite a good result here. So just for this section, until after the Airbuster boss, Mr. Blue will be equipped with Restore All in his weapon. Mr. Green will keep Ice and Bolt. Starting out, the team runs south along the tracks for a while. There are quite a few battles, but this point in the game is quite easy. After running for a while, they find some guards. The game explicitly warns you to turn back, but why would I ever do that? So I fight these guys. And then again. And again. And after doing it enough times to determine nothing is happening, I give up. Seems to be a total waste of time. Didn't find any particular info online either, but to be fair, I didn't look very hard. So running back the other way, eventually there is a chute leading down. How Mr. Blue fits down this narrow shaft is a mystery. Crawling around under the plate, eventually Jessie can be found milling about in a vent, and she admits it was her fault security went off on the train. Apparently she made some upgrades to Mr. Green's fake ID. Honestly, I'm curious what exactly she did. Did she give him a fake mustache or something? The reactor itself is very uneventful. Easy battles, layout is identical to Reactor 1, and no timer this time. Mr. Green does have a freak-out moment, but that's nothing new for him. On the way out of the reactor, the team is ambushed by Shinra. It seems this time they left a trap to catch the bombers. Though they don't care enough to actually stop the explosion, they just leave a flying robot behind and expect it to kill the party. Typical incompetent villain behavior. One quirk of the Airbuster battle is that the team is split in two and separated. Mr. Green is on a side by himself, and therefore out of range for Mr. Blue's Cure All casts. Though it didn't actually end up mattering this time. Mr. Green goes hard with the bolts. Since like most robots, this thing is weak to lightning. Limits charge pretty quickly and do extremely hefty damage. This guy likes to counterattack when hit in the back, but it never ends up being enough to take anybody out. By the time a cure would have been necessary, it was defeated. As a matter of fact, literally as I clicked cure on Mr. Green, Ms. Red punched it and it died. Mr. Green gets separated from the party and somehow survives falling from the plate all the way to the slums. Now we get introduced to yet another member of the party, the Flower Girl from back after the first bombing mission. Time to spin that wheel, and Flower Girl lands on yellow, Command Materia. This is a bit of a mixed bag. During the duration of Midgar, none of the available Command Materia do anything offensive, though at least this means someone can steal items. After Midgar is when Ms. Yellow here will really take off though, thanks to the enemy skill materia. For the moment, I don't have any yellow materia, so just leaving her empty for now. Also, I put the restore materia back on Mr. Green since Mr. Blue is out of the party for a bit, and he would have needed to get rid of it now anyway. Just an interesting thing I noticed, for the other characters, Mr. Green, Mr. Blue, etc., there are enough characters available to include a space, but Ms. Yellow actually doesn't fit, so I just left the space off. But when you see the text in-game, something about the font makes it look fine. Probably just the size and shape of the capital Y gives the illusion of there being a space there. After a few seconds of chatting with Ms. Yellow, some Shinra dudes show up to capture her. This is where we meet Reno of the Turks. He steps all over the flowers in a really cool move. What a badass. The next sequence is sort of like a minigame where you have to defend Ms. Yellow from guards by dropping barrels on them from above. The locations are sort of intuitive, but not exactly. I didn't remember the exact right ones and ended up missing on the first barrel. Oh well, I didn't see any penalty for messing this up, so no biggie. After the little game with the barrels, Ms. Green and Ms. Yellow escape across the rooftops. Once again, the outside of the church really looks like Lego or something because of the perspective. After the roof hopping sequence, Ms. Green and Ms. Yellow head to her house in Sector 5. The first thing I did when getting to the Sector 5 slum was go to the pipe to get the infamous line, "This guy are..." Wait, what? They fixed the translation? Man, some things are better left messed up. It loses the slightest bit of charm by being grammatically correct. Anyway, I finally bought the fire materia here, and a tent. That way, we have it. There are a few other notable pieces of loot in the little town. Some kid left 5 gil in his drawer. Man, you'd have to be pretty hard up to steal $5 from a child. Anyway, I know you get a much better item later for not doing that, so I leave it. Also in the same room, a Turtle Paradise flare. Better not miss that, since it is a lot more of a problem to access this one later in the game. In the garden outside Ms. Yellow's house is the first purple materia, cover. Nobody can use this right now though, so just stuffing it in the bag and moving on. Now that Ms. Yellow is home safe, Mr. Green sets his next destination as Ms. Red's bar in Sector 7. But Mr. Green stays the night at the suggestion of Ms. Yellow, who clearly wants to tag along. Elmira, her mom, asks him to sneak out and leave without telling her. So he does. But she anticipated this move and somehow teleports to the entrance of Sector 6. Mr. Green knows she won't take no for an answer, so he brings her with as he leaves for Sector 7. Nothing especially important happens along the way. When replaying this game after having played Remake, you really feel how small these areas are. Like, Remake turned this one tiny area into a full 30-minute or longer chapter. Crazy. They arrive at a small playground in Sector 6 and relax for a minute when suddenly a chocobo-drawn cart rolls by. Ms. Red is on the back wearing a swanky dress, so Mr. Green and Ms. Yellow run off to go see what that is all about. And now we come to Wall Market, the most wretched hive of scum and villainy in the slums. Ah, the 90s. This section of the game really did not age well. Even before going to Corneo's mansion, I go into the restaurant and order the Today's Special. It turns out the dish you choose here is irrelevant, but your response does matter. You need to choose "It was alright" to get the coupon. Next, at the pharmacy, trade for the digestive, then take this up the road to the karaoke bar and talk to the lady in the toilet. Giving her the digestive gives the best cologne option, the sexy cologne. Great, first key item obtained. Interesting that you can get this even before starting the quest, but it is actually an optional item anyway. You actually only need a dress and wig to proceed with the story. None of the other options are online yet, but before reaching Corneo's mansion, I hit up the weapon shop and buy some equipment. A new weapon for Ms. Yellow and some armor. The story continues when reaching the mansion. It turns out Ms. Red is inside. Ms. Yellow offers to go in alone and find her, but Mr. Green is not cool with this plan. This is a dangerous place. Ms. Yellow is acting a little devious, so Mr. Green asks what the deal is, and she suggests dressing like a woman to sneak inside. Time to go get a disguise, I guess. First stop, the dress shop. Checking in there, it turns out the owner is a drunkard and he is milling about the karaoke bar instead of doing his job. Confronting him there, Ms. Yellow manages to convince him to make a dress for the interesting chance of making a dress for a man. Yeah, this quest really is pretty behind the times. I guess in the 90s maybe it made more sense? The correct answers here are Feels Soft and Shimmers, which results in the silk dress. After going to pick up the dress, it turns out a dress alone is not enough here. No, Mr. Green's goofy haircut gives him away. So the next item to hunt for is a wig. The dressmaker suggests hitting up the gym because there are people like him there. Here is the squats minigame. I was a little nervous going into this one because I remembered how much of a pain this is in Remake and Rebirth. But the thing is, it's ridiculously simple in OG FF7. Like, I smashed my opponent 22-16 completely effortlessly. And there are no harder difficulties or anything like that, just need to do it once. Remake PTSD is real. Winning the minigame gives the blonde wig, which is the best one. I already mentioned just the dress and wig is enough to proceed, but if you want to get chosen as the girl of the evening, you need a few more things. The cologne is done, so next up is the tiara. There's the little materia shop up the road on the right. This guy has the weirdest hang-up. He refuses to talk to you until Ms. Yellow goes out of earshot, and then he asks you to do the completely innocuous task of staying at the inn and buying from the vending machine. You want to buy the most expensive item here, the 200 gil one. Then when you give it to him, it was a protein drink set. He uses this information to plot a business strategy to out-earn the inn owner. Okay, why the hell is he so concerned with Ms. Yellow overhearing this? What does gender have to do with this situation at all? Anyway, diamond tiara get. Next up is the underwear. At the bottom right of Wall Market is the Honeybee Inn, a very obvious strip club or brothel type situation. Lots of seedy dudes outside, including Johnny here. Even in OG FF7, he was a named character with a minimal amount of backstory. But that's about it. He seems to have a crush on Ms. Red, but that's it, nothing else of note. Nowhere near the significance he gets in Remake or Rebirth. The way inside is talking to this dude on the screen to the left. He gives you his pass, but only after triggering the quest by visiting Corneo's mansion. Ms. Yellow waits outside and Mr. Green goes in. You can interact with the rooms on the right, which are occupied. The bottom one has a weird roleplay session with the CEO of a company or something, pretending he's a king doing an arcane ritual. The top one has an old couple who clearly shouldn't be in a place like this to begin with. But here is the weirdest thing. The music during this scene is Kate Sith's theme, and if you scan the room, you can find a mini dancing Kate Sith in the bathtub. What the actual hell? What is the significance of this? Are these old people maybe Reeves' parents and he's spying on them with a robot? If so, that is really freaking creepy, dude. If not, what the hell is this thing doing here? Just an Easter egg? I never noticed this before and it kinda threw me off, not gonna lie. The goal here is to choose one of the two rooms on the left for Mr. Green to hang out in. It turns out this choice actually doesn't change the outcome at all. Neither of the underwear options affect your score. So I just choose the group room and roll with it. After some non-consensual activities in the hot tub, Mr. Green receives his bikini briefs. At this point, the option to get makeup done opens up. Just visit the top room and talk to the lady on the left. Apparently there are 3 different potential outcomes here, signified by the sound effect. Not sure which is which, but the sound I got was pretty good, so maybe that's the best one. To be honest, I think you get chosen as the girl with any one of them, as long as you have all the best key items. Now, Mr. Green takes all his hard-earned loot and changes in the dress shop. Everybody is very impressed. A funny side effect of my name choices, Ms. Yellow calls Mr. Green Miss Mr. Green. This will happen several more times in this playthrough. The dress is free, which is cool. Then Ms. Yellow decides to get one too. For some reason, nobody is happy with her choice, but she looks pretty good, for a Lego girl at least. After a quick save, now the team head up to finally meet Don Corneo and rescue Ms. Red. In the mansion, they run around looking for Ms. Red. It turns out there's only one place you can go, which is the basement torture chamber. Why is Ms. Red hanging out down here of all places? Ms. Red is happy to see Mr. Green again and explains what she's doing here. During this conversation, Ms. Red drops the classic line, Ms. Yellow. The plan is set. The 3 of them will line up for Don Corneo, and that guarantees one of them will be chosen by him for this evening. Then they can extract information. And so, the lineup begins. As expected, due to being thorough in the Wall Market quest section, Mr. Green is chosen as the lady of the evening. Corneo acts like a creep, which is his whole character, I guess. Then Ms. Red and Ms. Yellow bust in to do the interrogations. Once again, the translation seems to be different here. I seem to recall the line being, "I'll cut them off," and "I'll smash them," etc. But in this version, the line was changed from them to it. I guess the implication is pretty much the same, just an interesting choice to change it. Corneo pulls his usual cocky villain trick by asking the team to answer his question, then he drops them in the sewer. Here, there is another boss, the Apps. This thing is incredibly dumb. Its primary form of attack is called Sewer Tsunami. It used it several times, but except for a single time, it always used it from behind itself, which does more damage to it than the party. Along with Mr. Green spamming fire magic, it died super fast and without incident. Easy, easy boss. Once again, impressed they turned this tiny-ass area into a whole chapter in Remake. Truly, they were working with scraps, weren't they? The sewer is just 2 screens with almost no loot, but the most important get here is the Steel Materia, the first yellow one. Now, Ms. Yellow finally has something to equip. Steel is actually pretty good, so very glad to have it. Up the ladder is the train graveyard area. This one actually feels substantial. It is still 2 screens, but the screens actually have things on them. They are large, have many winding and crossing paths with verticality, and a minor puzzle to get out. It actually feels like an RPG dungeon. I neglected to kill any Elagors, which would have yielded a nice weapon from his yellow, but I guess it isn't strictly necessary, just would have been nice. The only notable thing that happened here was Mr. Green getting Cross Slash, which is a far superior limit break to Braver. As the party approaches Sector 7, they see things are already in crisis mode. It seems the battle started early. Mr. Blue and the other members of Avalanche are battling up on the Pillar Control Tower, and Mr. Green and Ms. Red need to hurry up and help. Ms. Yellow is tasked with finding and protecting Marlene, Mr. Blue's young daughter. She agrees, and the party splits up again. For this section, Mr. Blue will be rejoining the party, so I am spinning the Support Plus wheel once again. For the Pillar Assault section, the result is magic. Lucky man. So once again, Mr. Blue is allowed to use a single green materia linked with all, so that will have to be Restore again this time, while Mr. Green sticks with offense. After climbing the tower, Mr. Green and Ms. Red rendezvous with Mr. Blue, and they check equipment for a sec, then Reno drops in from a helicopter. This is the first battle with a Turk, and it has a gimmick. Reno loves to capture party members in a cage called a pyramid. All it takes is one smack from someone to crack it open and free the occupant, though. So every time someone is captured, I just have the next person do that. Other than that, this battle is pretty pathetic. Don't need to use any particular strategy, just spam attack and use limits when available. Reno bailed before anyone even got injured enough to warrant a heal. After the battle, Ms. Red got her second limit break, Somersault. Even without materia, Ms. Red's limit breaks are quite good, so she can hold her own. Mr. Green looks at the bomb to see if it can be defused, but it looks hopeless. Just then, Tsang, another member of the Turks, flies up to show off his new prize. He has captured Ms. Yellow. Fortunately, she lets everybody know that Marlene is safe, but then she is taken away right as the pillar starts crashing down. Mr. Blue grabs a nearby wire, and everybody holds on tight as they swing away from the collapsing pillar and plate it supported. Sector 7 is gonzo. Quite a devastating moment. Ms. Red and Mr. Blue lost their home and all their friends in an instant. Mr. Blue thinks Marlene is crushed with them, but Ms. Red lets him know that Ms. Yellow got her to safety, so they all set out together for Ms. Yellow's house, but not before picking up a sense materia to give to her later. Mr. Blue also gets to respin the Support Plus wheel here, but unfortunately for him, he lands on Summon, landing him in the same boat as Ms. Red. Bummer. Not much different around here, except that little kid who stashed away 5 gil in his drawer now gives a Turbo Ether prize for not stealing it. Sometimes it pays to not steal from little children. Sometimes. In Ms. Yellow's house, Elmira gives the backstory about how Ms. Yellow is a member of the Ancients, a race of people thought to be extinct. Mr. Green is definitely about to head out and mount a rescue mission, but Ms. Red and Mr. Blue decide they want to help. Now it really is a heist movie. In order to reach the top of the plate and Shinra HQ, they need to find a place to climb, and someone suggests Wall Market for reasons. So off they go. Wall Market also doesn't have much new to experience, just need to buy some batteries from the weapon shop. Guess someone from the future told them they need them or something. The way up is located in a side alley where a bunch of kids are playing. Mr. Blue calls it the Golden Wire of Hope, and they start the climb. This is a pretty simple part though, no battles even, just climbing. At the top is the iconic shot of Shinra HQ with Mr. Green looking on. The next area is quite large with a lot of areas in it, so I decided to split it in two for the purposes of Mr. Blue's gear. There is a lower Shinra HQ, which is everything up until getting captured by the Turks, then upper Shinra HQ, which is everything after that until the bike minigame. And I decided to give one last spin to account for the boss Motorball at the end of the bike minigame to wrap things up. So first spin, lower Shinra HQ. Mr. Blue lands on Summon again. Another whiff. Can't win them all. You can typically choose two routes here, a quiet way with a pretty humorous and lengthy run up the stairs, or a loud way with lots of fighting. I chose the loud way here. If you take the stairs, you miss all the battles in the elevator and all that XP and potential loot. But if you take the elevator, you can backtrack down the stairs to pick up the only piece of loot in there, a single elixir. so it seems obvious to me. Though it's worth taking the stairs once for the comedic dialogue in there. The loud way involves going straight in the front door, and immediately a battle begins in the lobby. After the fight, you can explore the lobby a little bit, and on the second floor is a store. They have some items, but nothing too big. The chests in here are locked down until way later. The elevator is the way forward. This is a sequence where you click on the stop button several times, each time advancing a random number of floors. Every time it stops, you fight a battle with some mooks. You'll probably have to fight like 6 or 7 battles all up here. Honestly, not terrible. Once the elevator reaches floor 59, the party gets off because it can't go any higher. Floor 60 has a stealth minigame where Mr. Green has to wave the others over when the guards aren't looking. Tactical espionage action. I get through without being noticed, though if you do get caught, it just results in some random encounters. Floor 61 is just a lounge area with some uptight suits. A guy mistakes Mr. Green for cleaning staff. Completely reasonable mistake. And he gives the keycard for floor 62. Not much else to do here, so moving on up. Floor 62 is a big puzzle floor. Apparently this puzzle is different every run and has 6 or 7 variations. I actually paid real money to the vice mayor here to learn how to do it legit and figured out the solution. For me, the password this time was the word Mako. Getting the password in one shot gives the elemental materia as a reward. Could be useful down the line, so slapping that on Mr. Blue to get a little bit of AP in the meanwhile. Next floor is another puzzle floor with some optional items. This time I just looked up the solution, wasn't going to waste time on this. Got all 3 item coupons and moved on. The star pendant is a pretty good get, especially for a fight coming up. The 4 slots isn't especially useful right now, but might be when my materia collection grows. And yet another all materia is pretty pointless. Up next is the gym. On this floor, there's a vending machine that is busted. You can punch it, a lady gets mad at you for doing it, and the payoff for this activity doesn't come until the end of the game. Great. Otherwise, there's a free rest and save point, so took advantage of that and moved up. Floor 65 is a rather pointless puzzle which just involves running around this floor and picking up key items. Kind of a waste of time, to be honest. Now, finally, floor 66. Here there's just some story. Mr. Green finds a vent in the toilet that connects to the big central conference room. He overhears them hashing out their evil corporate plot to maximize profits while destroying as much of the environment and innocent human life as possible. After the meeting, they see heartless science man Hojo heading towards the next floor and decide to follow him. This floor has some darker revelations. Hojo is preening over a specimen in a tank, who Ms. Red seems to feel sorry for, and Mr. Green catches a glimpse of a horror being kept alive in a tank. Mr. Blue knows exactly what to say, as always, very eloquently put. And here is where we get the last save point before a big boss. On floor 68, the team finally locate Miss Yellow, in the middle of an experiment being conducted by Hojo. He raises the floor and the red beast from before comes up. There is a little bit of a scuffle and Mr. Blue attempts to blast the place apart. When Hojo opens the door to make sure the specimens are safe, the beast pounces on him and the others rush in to help Miss Yellow. Then, a boss is raised up into the chamber, and Mr. Green orders someone to escort Miss Yellow. In this case, Mr. Blue takes the job, leaving Miss Red for the battle. And we finally get to name the last character of this section. After spinning the wheel, our little furry friend lands on Summon. Well, that was kind of fortuitous. I guess we can name him Red 13. Sure. So now with Red 13 and Ms. Red, Mr. Green goes into battle with the HO512 specimen. This fight ordinarily would be trivialized by a combination of fire or ice and all to hit the whole enemy team at once. Unfortunately, that combination is a no-go for this team. Mr. Green can hit the back row with magic, so that is what he does. Focus on the boss with fire and ice magic. Miss Red has no materia, so she is stuck with melee and the occasional limit breaker potion. And while Red 13 comes equipped with some materia that I had no chance to remove, I made sure not to use any action except attack an item. While Mr. Green had very little trouble over the course of the fight thanks to his star pendant preventing poison, the others got wrecked. He had to use a Phoenix down to get Ms. Red back up, and before Ms. Red could do the same for Red 13, Mr. Green finished the boss off. So no XP for you, new guy, sorry. The party has some introductions, and then they split up to get safely back to the elevator. I take Ms. Yellow and Ms. Red for now, making sure to grab everything that Red 13 had on. One very important get here is the enemy skill materia in the specimen chamber. It does nothing now, but boy oh boy will it be good later on. Not much to say about this section. A rando gives the keycard to this floor, but who cares, it isn't even really necessary. The goal is the elevator a few floors down, so down they go, and when Mr. Green steps into the elevator, it's a trap! President Shinra takes a second to outline his whole evil plot for the team. Very gracious of him. Then they get sent to holding cells. Mr. Green talks to all the members in each cell, then he gets some rest, and when he wakes up, things things are different. The holding cell is mysteriously open. When Mr. Green investigates, he finds the guard dead in the corridor. After waking up Ms. Red, they free the others and form a new party. This time there isn't an option. The party is Mr. Green, Ms. Red, and Ms. Yellow. Red 13 is running ahead to see what happened. He is the first to find the tank with that creepy Halloween decoration busted open. A trail of blood leads out of the tank and goes upstairs. Not ominous at all. When they finally get to the end of the trail of blood, they find the president dead with a gigantic anime sword stuck in his back. Mr. Green clearly recognizes this as the work of Sephiroth. And just when he starts to put some pieces together, a helicopter shows up with the dead president's son in tow, Rufus. Everybody runs out to the helipad to confront Rufus. He certainly doesn't seem all that disturbed that his father is dead and a legendary war hero long thought dead killed him. He goes off about his plan to rule the world with an iron tyrant's fist, and Mr. Green tells everybody else to get away from here. He will handle this guy alone. So cool, so cool. Ms. Red offers to wait for Mr. Green, which leaves the remaining 3 members as the party for the next encounter. There isn't a whole lot to prepare here, except spinning the support plus wheel for Mr. Blue, and it lands on Command, which would be cool if any currently available Command Materia interacted with any currently available Blue Materia. But since they don't, this is another dud, and Mr. Blue is stuck with nothing for the next battle. But never fear, he will still be carrying the party. They get on the elevator, and it is immediately a battle. The target is a machine called the 100 Gunner, and unfortunately, since it is on an adjacent elevator, it counts as long range. That means Miss Yellow and Red 13 have no way to damage this thing. Ms. Yellow still has support value since she can use Sense and her limit breaks, but Red 13 is truly useless for about 90% of this battle. He can only use Defend and wait for limit break to charge. Fortunately, at least Red 13's limit break works against this boss, and Mr. Blue is just using attacks every turn, slowly but surely killing the enemy. After what seems like an eternity, they finally defeat the 100 Gunner, only for another boss to take its place immediately, and this thing is much, much more difficult. This is the Heli Gunner, and unlike the 100 Gunner, its cannon attacks actually do more than just damage. They have status effects, poison, and sometimes sleep. That means for this battle, Red 13 will actually contribute a little bit by spamming potions, because Ms. Yellow's limit breaks alone just won't cut it anymore. Ms. Yellow and Red 13 both use a potion essentially every turn, and Ms. Yellow uses her limit break when she gets the chance. Mr. Blue just keeps on shooting, hoping to take this thing down. It takes forever, and by the end, once again, Red 13 is dead and gets no XP. Little guy can't catch a break. Ms. Yellow gets her new limit break, Seal Evil, though. For some reason, Mr. Blue doesn't get his yet, but hopefully he will soon. Now the perspective shifts back to Mr. Green, and his battle is way, way easier. I guess having actual materia that can be used makes a difference, huh? His magic does quite a bit of damage, way more than physical attacks, especially since Best Boy Dark Nation starts the fight by casting Barrier on Rufus. One cross-slash deals with Dark Nation, and Rufus just uses his shotgun a bunch while Mr. Green pelts him with magic. He has to use Cure once, but no biggie. Eventually he gets Limber Break again and smashes Rufus with it, putting a quick end to this boss. Mr. Green heads downstairs when Rufus retreats and joins back up with Ms. Red. Then they go down the elevator together. Meanwhile, Mr. Blue's party reaches the bottom floor and finds the outside of the lobby to be surrounded. Ms. Yellow drops a nice Mr. Blue, which once again Mr. Blue has an excellent comeback to. Suddenly, Ms. Red shows up and tells everybody to follow her, which begins the bike chase minigame. You get to choose your party before the minigame begins, so I decide to go with Mr. Blue and Ms. Yellow, since they are the only ones with materia. The support plus wheel for Mortar Ball lands on Summon. Ouch. Well, at least he can get AP on all those all materia. The bike minigame is pretty easy at this point, but mistakes cost you a little bit of HP going into the boss. I also forgot to swap the party formation so that Mr. Blue is in the front row and the others in the back, because the boss is a guaranteed back attack, so I have to waste the first turn swapping rows around. Anyway, this boss is the climax of the Midgar section and has some pretty nasty strong attacks. Twin Burner and Rolling Fire both deal tons of party-wide fire damage. A combination of elemental and fire on armor would work very well here. Too bad Mr. Blue didn't get magic for his spin. No big deal though, because Mr. Green has access to Bolt, and this thing is hilariously weak to lightning damage. It deals upwards of 300 damage per cast, compared to 50-ish from Mr. Blue's gunshots. Limit breaks deal a good amount of damage as well, with Ms. Yellow's keeping the party healthy. Mr. Green has access to Cure in an emergency, but he's mostly on Bolt duty. The one time the boss uses Rolling Fire, it deals a ton of damage, but it charges everybody's limit break at once, which just helps us deal more damage. This fight was so much more smooth than the elevator fight, it isn't even funny. After bolting the thing to death, the party finally gets a breather and climbs down outside of the city. And here is where part 1 of this series comes to an end. I now have half the party members available, and only Mr. Green has a particularly useful build so far. The next leg of the story sees 4 more party members join up, with 4 more opportunities to spin that wheel. We have no purple yet, so hoping to see one soon. Maybe a certain ninja will become my Ms. Purple. We'll have to wait and see next time. My 2 red party members will also finally start getting some action, since Summon Materia comes fast and furious outside Midgar, though not quite fast enough to run both of them at once. For now, I build the same party as Motorball, Mr. Green, Mr. Blue, and Ms. Yellow, and set out into the world to continue the journey. Make sure to like and subscribe and join me next time when my color-coded gang heads out to save the planet. Catch you next time.